this is Miss Miller and Miss Perkins. We wanted to go over a few things with our virtual learning classes. So let's go ahead and begin. So a few of our virtual expectations, we've already gone over these, but we wanted to just refresh your mind with them. So make sure you show up about 5 to 10 minutes before class begins and wait to be admitted in. The links do not appear until closer to the start time. So if you log on for our 10 o'clock class at 9 o'clock, the link is not going to be there. We get lots of emails asking why or where the link is. Make sure that you're looking about 15 to 10 minutes before the time the class starts. Refresh that page if you do not see that link. Make sure you're in a quiet place free of distractions. That means pets, parents, TV, all that. Find you a quiet space for learning. Make sure your video and sound are off at all times unless we have told you to turn it on or asked you to unmute yourselves. And the chat feature should not be used unless we have asked you to send us something. So I know for in math class, sometimes I will say, send me your answer. That's okay to use the chat then. Or if you have a question and we're not necessarily taking questions right at that time, but the chat feature should not be used to tell us what you did over the weekend or what you're doing that afternoon, things like
that. If we unmute you, do not use this time to announce things to the class. Don't take it as your opportunity to tell them what you did over the weekend or what your favorite color is, things like that. Questions will be answered at one time. We're trying to cut back on just interruptions, so we'll open it up for questions at one particular time. I know that y'all raise your hand throughout, and that's fine, but we may say, hold your questions just for a minute. If your parents sit there with you and they have questions, we will wait till the end of class to take questions from your parents. So just ask them to please hold their questions to the very end, and then we'll answer those at one time. Please come prepared to start class, use the bathroom, and eat before you begin class. I've had some of y'all send me a chat message and say, I need to go get some water. I need to go to the bathroom. All that needs to be done before we start class. You have lots of chances in between classes, before and after, to go to the bathroom and do all those things. So please come to class prepared, just like you would be at school, because we're not going to go over again what we just went over. So if you get up and go do something, then you're going to miss what we go over. When you enter the Zoom class, your name should already be changed. It should not show your username or someone else's name. We are not going to accept people into our Zoom meeting unless we see the student's name. This is a safety issue. You have to show your name, and there is a way to change it permanently. So please go to the settings in your Zoom and edit your profile to change it to your student's first and last name. We have to see that, and we are only going to be allowing those students into our Zoom. So if they're not being allowed in and you're wondering why, it could be that we don't see their name when we're admitting students into the Zoom. So please make sure that that is already fixed and changed so that they don't have to do it each time.
All right, attendance and tardies. We have started taking tardies and late into effect. So if you are late to class beyond 2 minutes, so our 10 o'clock class, if you log on at 10:02 and we're letting you in, you are considered tardy. 3 tardies equals 1 absence. We communicate with each other, me and Miss Perkins, and our friends who are not in our homeroom. We communicate with your homeroom teacher and let them know these things. So they'll enter in your absences, your tardies, and all of those things. If you are logging on 15 minutes after class begins, okay, so class has already started, we've usually gone over morning work, you will be marked absent and you will not be allowed to join the meeting. When we get those notifications, we have to stop what we're doing and let you in, and it takes time away from class and it takes the focus off of the learning that should be happening. Students should remain logged in for the entire class, okay? Do not log off because you have to go to the restroom or something like that. Have all that stuff done. If it kicks you off, that's understandable, but that shouldn't be something that's happening every single time. Being kicked off might happen once in a blue moon, so make sure that you're staying on the entire class. If your iPad is not charged and it kicks you off, that's not an excuse for being kicked off. You need to have that iPad charged. If it dies pretty quick, leave it plugged in, because if you have to log out or get kicked out, it takes time away if we have to let you back in, so you will be considered absent.
All right, here are our class times. So 10 o'clock is the first class. We are going to alternate between ELA and math and science, just so you're not always having one subject in the morning and one in the afternoon when we tend to get a little bit more tired after lunch. So we're going to alternate those each day. You will see the links, so it shouldn't be too confusing because we're not going to post the 12:30 class until after the 10 o'clock class. So you shouldn't see those at the same time. But the first class is at 10. I would go ahead and start getting logged on about 9:55, just so that you're already sitting in that waiting room for us to admit you into the meeting. But be prepared for both of those classes. Just have all your stuff right there beside you. 12:30 is our second class. We did move this from 12 just so that for that second class, we weren't having to log off and then log back in for lunch. Some people were not logging back in, and it was just too confusing. So hopefully this is helpful for you. You have a longer break in the middle to have your lunch, do whatever you need to. So 12:30 is a second class, and there won't be any breaks where we have to log out and log back in. It'll just be one solid time period for that second class. Tutorial is at 8:55. And that's going to alternate also between ELA and math. Usually whoever's at 10 o'clock would do the tutorial that morning. But that we won't necessarily have a video for every single tutorial. The videos will just be periodically, and we'll definitely let you know when they are. If you don't see a video for tutorial, there are resources under your homeroom teacher for tutorial. So that's where you need to go for tutorial. And tutorial videos are just going to be in our homeroom classes. That's where they're going to be posted. So if you are an add-on from another homeroom teacher, then you won't be seeing our Zoom videos. So you'll need to go to their Sandbox and look under their tutorial tab in their modules and look at the resources that they have. They may want you to get on Education Galaxy and practice skills on there. So just be in touch with your homeroom teacher to see what they want you to do during tutorial. Please note that the schedule is also posted on the landing page for the Perkins Miller Sandbox. So our schedule of class times is posted there for you to see also.
All right, Canvas. Okay, we are using Canvas this year. All students are submitting their assignments through Canvas, okay? So on Canvas, under your math and your ELA course, you will have modules. Within those modules, we have resources, we have files to download, and we have assignments. These assignments need to be submitted through that, okay? Through that assignment link, not sent to our inboxes. We've had a week of practicing them, I know, in math, so we need to be pretty comfortable submitting those assignments. Please make sure you've watched all the videos on how to submit assignments before sending us a message. There are 5 videos. They're posted in your math course, your Perkins/Miller course, and your ELA course. So you have 3 places where you can watch those videos. One thing the tech department did tell me is make sure you're using the app, the Canvas app, to do the assignments, because there's a pen icon that you can write on it directly from there. Another thing, make sure you're screenshotting your work. Sometimes Canvas doesn't transmit that work when it's submitted, and it shows up to us blank. In the event of that, it will be marked incomplete, okay? If that happens and you see that it's incomplete and you have that screenshot, you can upload that screenshot to that Canvas assignment, and we give you a second chance to do that, and then we will mark it complete then. So make sure you're using the Canvas app. Make sure that you are screenshotting it in the event that Canvas does delete it. And we have no control over that. That's a Canvas feature. I hope they get it fixed, but they're working on it. We're getting a lot of messages about things we have already covered or answered, so please check everything or troubleshoot every possible way before sending us a message. My go-to answer is, have you restarted your iPad? Restarting your iPad works wonders. I don't know why, but it does. So if you're ever confused or something's not working correctly, restart that iPad and try again. Another thing, I can't remember what I was going to tell y'all.
We can come back.
Yeah, we'll come back because I had something. Oh, here's what it is. Sorry, guys. Canvas assignments, they're all posted at once. You should not be working ahead unless you're given permission to. Okay, I know we post everything on Sunday. That way, if you want to print it out, you can. Do not work ahead. I know this week I've had assignments submitted and they haven't even been in class yet. So if you have not been told to do something, then you shouldn't be doing it. Morning work should be done every day, but any of the classwork needs to be done as we go over it in class or it's assigned to you. So please do not try to work ahead, because if we have to reteach that skill, it's going to be a little bit harder and more confusing on your end. So.
All right, here's where to find links. So in the Perkins Miller Sandbox, this is just for our virtual kiddos. This is where you will find all the links to our Zoom classes under math or ELA. We have directions about submitting assignments on Canvas. Those videos that she was just talking about, they're all in the Perkins Miller Sandbox. We also will have recordings of our Zoom lessons. They will only be available for 10 days, and we will post them at the end of the week. So our Monday, Thursday class will be posted at the end of the week, and then Tuesday, Friday class we posted at the end. In your actual course Sandbox for language arts, math, and science, that is where you will find all of your assignments, your work, any material for class, all of your tutorial information. Also, your newsletter is in your daily plans under your subject, your homework, all of your resources, and lesson plans. All of that is going to be in your subject area. So your homeroom teacher or your math and science, that's all going to be where you find that information.
Tutorial. So we talked about this a little bit already. So the link will be in your class module. This is only for Perkins and Miller homeroom students. If you're not in Miss Perkins or Miss Miller's homeroom, your tutorial, you will not have a video for that, okay? You will find the link in your subject areas class. So for math, it'll be under the math course under modules. I have a tutorial module. For ELA, it'll be under the language arts course under modules. She has a tutorial module. Only our homeroom students attend our Zoom tutorials, okay? We will not Zoom every day. So make sure you're looking under the tutorial in our class module for resources to use during that time. If you're in another homeroom, your teacher will have resources for you under tutorial in her class module. If you cannot find that or you cannot see that, you need to contact your homeroom teacher and ask them. We do not have access to their courses, so we cannot help you in the event, okay? So you need to make sure to contact your homeroom teacher if you cannot find something.
All right, testing on Edulastic. Edulastic is what we use for all of our grades. Please just remember that when you get on Edulastic, this is independent work, and parents or anyone, grandparents, should not be sitting next to students as they complete their test. This is just like you are taking a test at school. You should be sitting by yourself with no distractions around you. All of your binders, materials, notes, all of that should be put away. Students will be given a time frame, and the test or quiz will have to be submitted during that time. So we're just going to open it up for a certain period of time, and that it needs to be completed during that time period. They won't have an entire week to do one test or quiz, okay? We'll have to be on that specific day that we assign it.
All right, students from other homerooms, okay? So if you are not listed under Miss Miller or Miss Perkins, Please remember that all questions need to go to your homeroom teacher. I know in our Canvas inbox, we get a lot of questions from students who are not ours. As much as we would love to help you, we have our in-person kids and our virtual kids that we're also answering questions for. We do not have access to your Canvas or access to put a ticket in for your iPad if it's not working. So you have got to go through your homeroom teacher in order to get those questions answered. We would love to help you, but we can't because we just don't have access to it, and we have all of our other students we have to tend to. Tutorial, again, is through your homeroom teacher. That's been a big question. So make sure you're looking at those resources under your homeroom teacher, your homeroom courses, math and ELA, and do those practices that they have listed under that tutorial.
All right, we have office hours for questions that you may have or help that you need if you need us to call you for a reason. So Monday through Friday from 2 to 2:30 p.m. These are our office hours that we have dedicated solely to checking our emails, answering any questions you have, our inbox on Canvas, all those things. So you can contact us by email at any time. However, this is going to be our time that we really sit down and look through all those things and make sure that we've answered your questions. As you can imagine, our inboxes have been very full lately, so if we haven't gotten back to you, you may just want to shoot us another email and say, hey, did you get this email? Because sometimes I get lost in there. I'm guilty of that for sure. Please remember that we also have kids here at school in person, and so we're teaching when we're not on Zoom. So if you call up to the office and ask to speak to us right then, just remember that we have kids in our classrooms, and so we can't just run to the phone real quick and answer it as much as we would like to help you. Email is probably the very best way to get to us if you need something in a hurry. That's what we check all day long. We're checking those. We may not be able to respond right then because we are in the middle of teaching, but I may glance at it and know that I've got to get back to you at 2 to 2:30. So, and this is for our homeroom students. If you have a different homeroom teacher, please contact them. They should be your first point of contact if you have a question or something like that, okay? They should be your first person to...
And I wanted to add real fast, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I wanted to add Canvas inbox. It's really hard for me to look through my Canvas inbox because we have so many students that inbox us. So please make sure, I mean, if you're having a question or an assignment's locked, that's okay for a student to message us on there. But if you have a specific question about a class thing that we're doing or an assignment that's, you know, that parents need to ask, make sure you send us an actual email. I can look through those a lot easier than the Canvas because with Canvas, we have, I think, 60-something kids in our Canvas sandbox. And so it gets a little confusing, and I don't know whose I've read because it doesn't give me those notifications. So please make sure you're sending it to our actual email. That way I can make sure I'm getting to you quicker. So.
And that reminds me too, don't send us your assignments through our inbox because we just can't go through and check all of our messages on inbox for your assignments. Submit those through the actual assignment, not to our inbox.
Yes. Oh, other important reminders. Okay, AR tests are open to you. Okay, you can take AR tests from home between the hours of 7 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If you go under your resource page, so either math or ELA, there is a resource button at the bottom, a resource page. It will send you to that accelerated reader link. Okay, you log on. You should have your password sheet. It's the same login from last year. It's your first dot last name and then your birthday in all digits. Okay, that is your login. So you can take your test at home, but make sure that you're actually taking the test. To get those points, we want it to be an accurate of what you have read and you have taken. You have access to Mayan. You can get books from your home and read. So please do that and make sure you're actually reading them, not getting read to when you take those tests, okay? Morning work should be completed each morning before class begins. So when we log on at 10 o'clock, I shouldn't have students finishing up their day 1 and day 2 morning work. You've got to make sure that you are finishing up before class begins. You have from 7:45 to really 8:45 if you're in a tutorial class with us to do that. If not, you have from 7:45 to 9:55 really. So you have plenty of time to get those days done for both reading and ELA. I mean, math and ELA.
All right, well, that's it, guys. We hope that we've answered all your questions, and we look forward to hopefully meeting you in person one day.
Yay. Bye, guys.